friends, and welcome to the Happy Hour podcast. My name is Jamie Ivey, and I am your host. And today on the Happy Hour, we have my friend Meghan McCamant, and she is a great friend of mine who is a teacher. She loves books. She is single, and we just have a great time chatting. We talked today about her family. Her middle sister has special needs. We talk about life growing up with a child that is different in your family. We talk about teaching. I got all the lowdown on how to bless your teachers throughout the year, so you're going to want to hear that. And we talk about books and what we're reading. I know you're going to love it. I want to thank all of you guys who are leaving comments. Kelly left a comment on the website that says, "Love this. From one mom to another. This is so fun and true. We'll be listening all the time. Keep them coming. Thanks. It made my day wonderful." Thanks a lot, Kelly. Lindsay Thompson left a comment that says, "I love Noonday and I love your podcast. Been listening while I run." I've had Jessica Honegger on, who's the founder of Noonday. I also had Wynn Elder, who is an ambassador with Noonday. I love everything about Noonday. And so thanks for listening, Lindsay. Elizabeth left a comment on the blog that said, "I love your blog post and I've been enjoying the podcast. Thank you for sharing so much from your heart and for discussing relevant topics." Elizabeth, I'm glad that you see what happens on the podcast as relevant, because that's what I love about this podcast, is that we just talk about anything and everything. We can talk about serious stuff to stuff that's not serious at all, and it's just fun. It's just girlfriends hanging out. Alex left a comment on the website that said, "I'm loving your podcast. My husband and I live in India right now, and your podcast has been a great way to detox after a long day and remind myself that I'm a normal person outside of my current context." Alex, I'm so glad that you're listening, and thank you so much for your comment. I want to let you guys know about Stitcher. Stitcher is a great way to listen to podcasts straight from your iPad, iPhone, your smartphone. You download an app, and then you just search for the podcast. It's under my name, Jamie Ivey. I'd love it if you subscribe to it. I'd love it if you left a comment. It helps other people find the show. Most importantly, I love that you're here today. You're going to love our conversation that Meghan and I had, and I hope that you feel as though you were just at happy hour with some girlfriends having great conversation. So thanks for listening wherever you are, running errands with your kids, doing dishes, working out, wherever today takes you. I hope you make the most of it and love it. Thanks for listening to the Happy Hour. Have a great day. Coming on to this. Hey, Meghan, welcome to the Happy Hour.
Hey, how's it going, girl?
Good. Okay, I introduced you and I said that you were a teacher and a friend and all that kind of stuff, but I also want to tell everyone that you're also Story's BFF.
Oh, yeah, we are BFFs. We have so much fun together.
Okay, so when I was in Mexico last week, Story stayed with Meghan for a couple days, but before Story went to Meghan's house, Aaron had taken Story out on a date, which is so cute, by the way.
Oh, I know. I love that he does that. And then you send, we're not on social media, so you sent me the picture. And I was like, oh, she looks so cute.
She got all dressed up. They went to Second Bar and Grill. Is it Bar and Grill or Second Bar? Second?
Dang.
I know.
Yeah. I'm like, my dad did not take me to Second Bar and Grill.
Well, I was I want to go out. Take me out.
Yeah, for the love. Come on.
So they went to Second. Is it Bar and Grill or Second Kitchen? What is it?
Second Bar and Kitchen.
Okay, Second Bar and Kitchen. So they went there, had amazing food, because that's one of our favorite restaurants in Austin. And then he took her on those pedicabs?
Yes. I bet she loved that.
She loved it, and they went and had ice cream. Isn't that a fun date?
Yes. Man.
I know. All you single guys out there about to do a date, there you go, right there.
If that's what's happening for 5-year-olds,
yeah, exactly.
Definitely needs to be happening for 28-year-olds. Come on now.
So Story and Aaron were on this date, and it was before we went to Mexico, and Aaron was like, "Hey, are you looking forward to staying with your friend's house?" Because she was with our friend Janet, and then with our friends, the Otts and the Stewarts and you. And he's like, and she said, yes. And she said, well, yeah, I get to see my best friend. And Aaron's like, oh, is it Maddie Rose or Karis? Like, who's your best friend? She goes, Meghan. He said, yeah. Meghan's your best friend? She said, yeah.
When you sent me that email telling me that, I was at school and I started crying. I was like, oh, I just love her so much.
I cried too when Aaron told me.
We have a good time. I mean, we have dance parties. She likes to, have contests with me, which somehow she's the judge and I always lose. But
well, the judge always wins. Let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know what's so funny is when Aaron and I were dating, we had a couple families two families in particular, where I would just hang out with the wife all the time, and Aaron hung out with the husbands, and they had kids. They each had 3 kids, and I don't remember ever really babysitting for them, but I went with them on vacation once to help out with the kids. Aaron and I weren't married. And one of the guys told Aaron one time, he's like, you will see when you have kids, people that love your kids, you love them so much. And I'm like, and now that we have 4 kids, I can see when people come into our lives and they really love our kids and they love them in spite of when they're jerks and throw tantrums and say mean things, like, it just makes you love. So you're like one of those friends that is my friend first, but I also love you because you love my kids so well. So
well, your kids are easy to love. So
well, most days.
Most days, yeah.
Most days. Okay, I have a plethora of things that I want to talk about with you. I want to talk about your family. Uh-huh. You are a first grade teacher. I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
And we love books, both of us do. And so I want to talk about what we're reading, what we're going to read, and the list of books that are going to be movies that come out this year. So
yes.
And then I also want to talk to you about dating.
Okay. Yay.
Put you on the spot. Yay, dating. Yeah. Okay, so let's jump right in. Okay. And I want to talk about your family because I know that there are probably people that are listening that probably have family that maybe looks like yours or they have friends like yours. So tell me, you're the middle child?
No, I'm the baby.
You're the baby.
That's why Story and I get along so well.
You're the baby. So you have 2 older sisters. Your middle sister is Amanda, right?
Yes.
And Amanda has severe special needs. Tell me just a little bit about Amanda. Yeah.
So Amanda is the middle child, and she is 30 years old. She's 2 years older than me. And she is deaf, nonverbal, and she has severe autism. So, and she's always lived at home with us.
Is she blind as well?
Yes, yes. And she's partially blind.
Okay.
Now, she wasn't born blind. Mm-hmm. Later on, we found out she had a degenerative something with her sight, and so it's just gotten worse. And so she's legally blind, and so she has trouble seeing things like when it's real bright, and her eyes are super sensitive, and so, yeah.
Okay, so tell me this, being the baby and having 2 older sisters, what was it like growing up in a family with a child that was different? Because I feel like now none of my kids have special needs, but our family looks different, than a lot of families. And one of my closest girlfriend, Amy, which you know Amy, her daughter has special needs. Amy was on the very first podcast, so if you haven't listened to that, go listen to it. But her daughter has special needs as well. And so just tell me real quick, what was it like as a child growing up in a family where one of the kids seemed different to everyone else?
Yeah, so people ask me this question a lot. And for me, since I was the baby, I didn't know anything different, right? And so I knew that, Amanda was different than my oldest sister. So, like, when my mom would give me a bottle, I'd always ask for one. I would say, we called her Nanny. That's her nickname, Nanny. So I would say, Nanny 2? Nanny 2? And so she would give me a bottle for Amanda, and I would take it to Amanda. So, I knew that something was different. But my family operated as a normal family. When I look back on it, we went to restaurants. We went on vacations, all of us together. Like, we went on outings. And when I look back on it, that had to not have been as relaxing as it would be for a family with a child that doesn't have any differences, right? Like maybe with your family, when y'all first all were together, y'all got looks. I remember you telling me, you know. And, we definitely got lots of looks. Amanda, has, different behaviors than most people. And so we would get looks, and sometimes people would come up and talk to us and be super kind. And I remember as I got into middle school, I became like, just like, you know, insanely aware of people, you know, watching us, looking at us, whatever.
Yeah, because middle school is like the worst time of your life.
Oh, yeah. I don't even want to be with my parents.
No,
you know?
much less someone in your family that looks different.
Yeah, my sister, I'm like, for the love, Amanda, can you just stop? No, just treating her like, you know, a middle schooler does. But, you know, as I've thought back on it and talked with my mom about it, it wasn't really, we were never offended by the people who were looking at us. It was really the ones who were rude that offended us. But we never, you know, people aren't around people with severe disabilities often. Most people are not around that.
Right.
And so it's going to feel uncomfortable. And that's okay.
Yeah.
You know?
So tell me this real quick, because I know that I've even dealt with this on a small scale of, you know, when people ask me, kids just say anything that's on their mind. And that's one of my favorite things about kids is they just say what they think. That's so, right. You know, like oftentimes at kids, when we first started going to our new school, they'd be like, are you Amos's mom? I'd be like, I am.
Yeah.
Well, he's black and you're white. Where's his real mom? And when there are adults around, they get really like offended, like, oh, don't say that, don't say that, don't say that. You know, but for me, I'm always like, this is such a good time just to like explain that we do look different, but I am his mom and he has another mom in Haiti, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. So what is your advice if people are out and one of their kids sees someone in a wheelchair or that's blind or that's deaf or that has autism or is missing a limb? That is such a good opportunity for parents to teach their kids. How should they handle that?
Yeah. So I think that, now I think every family's different, right? Every family who has a child with differences is different. But with us, you know, I think first of all, to tell your child, to talk to your child about that person like they are a person. Right. Like, that's a little girl, or that's a little boy, or that's a woman or a man. And then talk about the difference, right? But addressing them as a person, first of all. And then kind of assessing the situation like, well, you know, like, for instance, my sister used to throw herself on the ground in the middle of public. That might not be the time to go up and ask questions, you know, like, my mom might have been
Donna might not be happy with that.
Donna would be like, just let me
leave me alone.
Yeah. But for the most part, I mean, asking questions, kids asking questions about that is the perfect time as a parent to be able to teach them that this is a person, like just like we are. They have emotions just like us. They just have a difference. Right. And so I think, you know, families with disabilities, families with a child with disabilities, at sometimes might not be okay with it, but our family for sure wouldn't have minded if we were at dinner, a child asking questions and then us being able to answer them. Yeah, I love that. And actually, I was thinking back on this, as a sibling, for someone to come up to our table and talk to us and be kind and ask questions, to me felt like, oh, you're like accepting my sister. Like, it felt really like, oh gosh, thank you so much. You know, like you're seeing her as like somebody that you can ask questions about, that you don't have to like skirt around and ignore, because I would rather you be kind and talk to us than just like, and feel uncomfortable a little bit, than just be like, no, don't, you know, leave him alone, don't look at him. I know. You know, because people, I don't think, are doing that out of meanness, or they're just doing,
it's uncomfortable to them.
It is. And so I don't think they say to their kids, you know, don't look at him, you know, leave him alone, out of meanness. I think they just don't know what to do. Right. And so. Yeah.
Like, I'm super grateful that my kids have spent so much time with my friend Amy's daughter, Mabry. You know, because it is such, we see other kids that maybe are on the autism spectrum or have autism, and we're just like, oh yeah, remember, Mabry's brain is different. And so that's all it is. She's just a little girl, just like you, but her brain's different. And so that affects her that way. I love it so much. Okay. Do you want to, and you don't have to, do you want to share a funny story?
Oh, we have so many funny stories about Amanda. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, I can share a funny story. I'll share the one about the tree.
Okay.
How about that? So Amanda as a child, I mean, we have many stories, where Amanda, she just does what Amanda wants to do.
Right.
Okay. She's very strong-willed and, she liked to climb trees as a child.
It must run in the family. You're a pretty strong-willed person.
Oh, I totally would. Now, Ashley, the oldest, was like very compliant and happy and whatever. And then,
Amanda and Meghan go do whatever they want.
Yeah, that's right. So we just moved to our new neighborhood, and we had lots of trees in the backyard. And Amanda liked to climb the trees, and usually she'd just sit in a lower branch. But one day she, and also Amanda carries objects with her, so she finds comfort in certain objects. So at the time, she had grabbed a car mat out of the car and rolled it up and would carry it under her arm. And, you could not get that car mat away from her to save your life. Okay. She took it everywhere. So she climbed up the tree pretty high, and we were trying to get her to coaxing her down,
with the car mat.
Oh yeah. She had the car mat up there, everything.
Yeah.
And we're trying to coax her down, getting out her favorite, ice cream, whatever, just trying to get her down. She won't come. So my mom calls, 911, tells them it's not an emergency. We just need someone to come help us get her down. Please don't turn the sirens on. It's really not a big deal. Well, for the love, 2 fire trucks come, big, all the sirens going, I'm like 4 or 5, but my older sister is like 11. Okay. So we just moved to the neighborhood.
Mortified.
Here come the fire trucks and everything. Well, while Amanda's been up in the tree, and she's only 7, she's decided, hey, these clothes are kind of uncomfortable. It's a little hot outside, I guess. I'm just going to take these off. But I'm going to keep the car mat. Okay, so she's 7-year-old girl, up in the tree, stark naked, whatever. And Ashley is just dying. Well, and so all the neighbors are out because they hear the sirens and everything, and they can all see in our backyard because the fences are low, and they come out, and they're looking, kind of confused, what is going on, and Amanda's naked, and they look at my mom, and they're like, oh, did you throw her that car mat to cover herself? And, my mom's pretty sassy, and, she was like, oh, yeah, sure. I told my husband, honey, hurry, run to the car, get the car mat. Here, cover yourself with this, baby. Anyways, just stuff like that all the time.
It's fun to be able to sit back and laugh at all of our kids' antics. And so I don't want anyone to think that we're making fun of Amanda.
Oh, never. I mean, we could tell stories about me all day long.
There you go. I know.
And probably times I've embarrassed my sisters all day long.
For sure. Okay, last question about this, because there's a lot of times that some people also don't know what language to use. So, for example, in my situation, a lot of people will talk to me and be like, hey, my husband and I want to adopt someday. We want to have some of our own kids, and then we want to adopt. I know exactly what they mean. They mean they want to birth a few babies, and then they want to adopt some kids. But to me, I think, well, these are all my kids. They're all my own.
Right.
And so I don't really like that language. I don't take offense to it. I used to when we first adopted our first child. I used to get really offensive. I don't get offensive anymore because I know they just don't know the language. And it doesn't really offend me, but I'm afraid it would offend my children. If Amos, Deacon, and Story were like, well, I thought I was her kid too. It's just, Kate, that kind of thing. So what about when people address a child with special needs? What is PC? What's politically correct to say?
Right. And I hate that word PC or politically correct, because the reason, when that first people, so they call it people first language now for people with disabilities. It's called people first.
Okay.
And so the reason it's called that is because we're wanting to change people's viewpoint of people with disabilities, not to view them as their disability.
Right.
just like if you had cancer, you wouldn't want people to only identify you with cancer,
right,
you know?
Right.
And so, like, I wouldn't say, hi, I'm Meghan, or Megan's cancer. Just
right.
like I wouldn't say my sister's autistic. I would say my sister has autism.
Okay, yeah.
So, but, you know, when that first came out, the people first thing, I was like, oh gosh, whatever. What's going to be the next new thing, you know, like,
right.
And, but really it does shift your thinking about that person.
Mm-hmm.
And it even did for myself. And I grew up with Amanda and love her dearly. But just to be able to shift to think about Amanda and even my students that I have as people first and as children first, it's just so important. And it will, if people can do that, it will change drastically the way they treat those people and treat children that have disabilities or whatever, because they're seeing them as people first,
right.
with emotions and feelings and, you know, fears and whatever.
Right.
So what is politically correct is people first language. So seeing them as a person first and seeing them with differences, not disabilities, I guess. You would have differences. And definitely, like, at school, I have all my kids take this. There's a new, like, campaign right now to get rid of the R word, and the R word is retarded.
Yes, I hate it.
Yeah, I hate that word, you know. And people use it all the time, and
I think you wrote a post for me about that.
I did,
I'll link to it on the website.
I hate that word, but you know, at school now, we've gotten the whole school to start taking that pledge with the kids and having them learn about that word and why that word hurts people. And it doesn't just hurt the people who who have differences. It hurts their family members,
right.
You know?
Yeah.
Because
yeah, I would say that I never really was aware of that word being so negative until Mabry. You know, and so, but the reason I wasn't aware is because it just didn't affect me, and it was just a word. It didn't affect me at all. And so, you know, when people are like, oh my gosh, that's so retarded, like, I think that's offensive.
Yeah, and it's not that I get really angry about it.
No.
It's just, I feel like people are more educated. But, you know, Amanda doesn't hear that word. She can't hear it. But as her family, it's our responsibility to speak up for her because she can't speak up for herself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
love that.
That's people first language, and I think it's a great movement. At first I was kind of like, oh, this is the new thing. Oh my gosh, you know. But it's actually really good, and it changes your view on, you know, just treating people as people, you know.
So when I say this is Meghan and we're going to talk about her sister Amanda who has special needs, is that correct or incorrect?
Yeah. No, that's great. That's fine. Who has special needs? Yeah.
You can tell me.
No, I know. Oh, I would. No, it's fine. Special needs is fine, you know. And the thing is that what's hard is and what they're trying to change is that those words are changed legally. So even in my paperwork at school for students with intellectual disabilities, that's what we call it now instead of mental retardation.
Right.
But in the paperwork, it's still called mental retardation. And so trying to get it switched all across the board.
Across the board. Good.
Yeah.
Okay, I love it. Okay, so this moves on to the next thing. You're a teacher.
Sure.
How long have you been teaching?
5 years. I just got my 5th year certificate.
Well,
so
there you go.
like my little thing I could put on my wall, but I'm not. But I won't.
But you could if you wanted to.
I could frame it.
Okay, so you're a teacher, and so many times I have come to you and been like, Meghan, how do I approach my kid's teacher about this that's happening? You know?
Yeah.
And so the thing that's worrisome for me as a parent is I worry, and you can tell me what you think about this. I worry that if I speak up to one of my kids' teachers about, hey, I'm uncomfortable with this, I don't like the way this is happening, I worry that will affect my kid in their classroom. You know what I mean? Okay. So I think a lot of parents maybe feel this kind of like you're kind of suffocated about speaking up because you don't want that to affect your kid in the classroom. Yeah.
And I've had parents, you know, express that they're like, I didn't want to bring this up because I didn't want, you know.
Yeah.
And really, it's like, sometimes it offends me, if I'm honest, because I'm like, you really think, like, I spend all day with your child, that I'm going to take out something on a 5 or 6 year old,
Right.
you know, like, I love your child, you know, apart from you and I maybe having a difference or a conflict. And so, I would, you know, and I've been around a lot of teachers, and I would say that I don't know any teacher that I've taught with who takes out something on the child that they've had with the parent.
That's good to know. And that makes sense. I mean, I used to be a teacher as well. And that just, to me, that would have been ludicrous to think that would have happened.
Yeah.
In fact,
go ahead.
The other day I was cleaning out a file cabinet and I found this like 3-page letter from a parent when I was a teacher. It was my first year teaching, and they ripped me to pieces. Like when I read it, I kind of got all frustrated and my stomach hurt all over again. And that was like 12 years ago. Yeah, when you get, and I think I told you just a couple weeks ago, you know, something happened with a parent, and it really hurts my feelings, and it's hard for it not to hurt my feelings, because I love my students so much, and I invest so much time in them, and yet I'm not going to do everything perfectly. True.
I'm not going to, you know, I'm not always going to be as patient as I should have been, or whatever. Yeah. And so for a parent to unload on me or whatever, it hurts my feelings. And I would rather a parent come to me first and just let us talk about it than go to all other parents or to the principal first.
That's a good word.
And my principal's great. She'll be like, "Oh, have you talked to Miss McCamant about this yet? You should go talk to her." And then if that doesn't go well, I'll talk.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. Okay, so I started this when, I guess when Caden went to kindergarten, which was like, well, he'll be in 5th grade this year. But on the first day of school, and you know what? I don't think I've done this for the past 2 years, but I'm going to do it this year. But I would bring the teacher like cookies from Caden, and you know, and then I did
apples from Amos, or
something like that. And I got to do that again this year. But I always want to just let the teacher know, I want to bless you. We're on the same side as you. We're together. Right. We've even had some teachers over for dinner. Just be like, hey, we support you. We're in
and I love that so much. Gosh.
My thing is, during the school year, teachers see my kids during the day more than I do. Mm-hmm. And so I just want them to know, look, I'm with you. I support you. But what I want to know from you as a teacher, what are some ways that parents can support teachers? If you're a working mom, if you're a mom that stays home, what are some ways that you can support the teacher? And what are the best and worst gifts you've received?
Okay, great. Well, ways you can support the teacher is, here's one of my favorite things that, say I've got working moms, you know, and they want to be involved in,
but it's hard.
You know, the classroom, but they can't. I mean, they can't come up to school, whatever. I love it if I can send home like 20 pencils and they'll sharpen them for me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm serious. Pencils are like the bane of teachers' existence. They hate, pencils are they're terrible. They're always breaking. They interrupt instruction time.
Since you're talking about pencils, when my kids' school sends home the school list, they put a certain pencil that you have to buy. Okay. And do you know, it's like double the price.
Oh, we don't do that.
And I'm always like, what the heck? Why does it have to be this special pencil? And most of the time, I don't get it. But now I hear you saying that maybe it matters.
It does. Pencils drive us crazy. So sometimes, you know, parents will want to do something, and I'm like, hey, if I just send home 20 pencils, will you sharpen them? They're like, really?
That's
and I'm
easy.
Like, please. You know, kids aren't allowed to sharpen pencils during the day in my classroom. Like, we're not allowed to hear the
noise.
The noise or anything.
Because it drives you crazy?
And it interrupts everything. Yeah. And then they get, obsessed about sharpening their pencil, and they break them on purpose, whatever.
That's a good rule.
So, I think would that be easy for you to be able to sharpen 20 pencils?
Yeah, because at night I could sit on my couch and watch House of Cards and sharpen
pencils. Or you
pencils.
could even have your kids do it, you know?
Yeah, and then they could fight over it. and start poking each other with it. That's what would happen at my house. I'd be like, everyone outside, we're sharpening pencils.
Yes.
I have a girlfriend who she does that every year at the beginning of school. She goes up and sharpens all the pencils for her kids' teachers. Oh, she used to be a teacher, so she probably knows.
Yeah, that is a blessing, I'm telling you. So it's small things like that that are great, you know. Other things that parents have done that have, like, just made my day is they'll come up in the morning and they'll hand me a menu to whatever restaurant. And they're like, hey,
that's good.
They'll say, hey, I'm going to go here for lunch. Just write down real quick. Look at the menu, write down, and I'm going to bring it to you. And they'll bring it at lunchtime. And that is just such a fun little thing for a teacher because we don't get to go out to lunch.
No, you don't.
You know? And that's okay that we don't get to, but it's just such a little blessing. You know, it doesn't cost the parent a lot of money, but it's something that a teacher really is like, oh my gosh, they brought me lunch. Wasn't that so sweet? And all the teachers talk about it, you know, and so.
And they're like, I have the best parents in my classroom.
Yeah. I mean,
I sub at my kids' school sometimes. And I had forgotten that by the time you take your kids to the cafeteria and then get back to, like, the teacher's workroom, you have about 22 minutes to eat lunch.
Oh, yeah, and you're, like, scarfing it.
Scarfing it down.
And that's
and then you have to go to the bathroom, too. I mean, your time is just no.
Yes. Yeah. And that's if, like, nobody comes in to ask you questions about something or whatever.
Okay, so that's a really good idea.
Yeah, that is something that is, I just love that. That really makes my day.
What's the worst thing that a parent, like, if they're trying, what is something that, like, hey, I'm trying to help, but it really is not a help?
Okay, so parents really, they like to, sometimes they want to come in the classroom and help, right?
Yeah, because we think that'd be such a great idea.
And that sometimes is awesome. Uh-huh. But a lot of times, that's a huge distraction. Yeah. Especially in the younger grades. Mm-hmm. Because then kids are like, some kids are, you know, like, well, I want my mom here. Yeah. And where's my mom? And
then what if they came in to help and they brought their little 2-year-old?
I have had that happen. And then you're like, okay, why don't you go in the hall with, you know, these 2 students or whatever. Yeah. So sometimes it's, you know, parents really want to be in the classroom and that's great. And but most of the time I would rather them take a student who's, say, struggling and reading and read with them in the hallway or something. Because actually in the classroom, and it's not because, you know, I don't want them to see what's going on in the classroom. That's fine. They can come in for short periods of time. But, you know, when you have 10 parents who want to be in the classroom, it's like, okay, now I'm teaching 22 students and trying to juggle 10 parents trying to be in the room.
It's hard to teach.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But it's great if you will come, if you want to come and read with a student for me, that is awesome. Okay. I love that. And just sit with them in the hall and read because the honest truth is that a lot of students don't have an adult that reads with them at home or anything, you know, and so.
Teachers say they can tell. Can you tell if a kid comes into first grade and their parents don't read to them?
Yeah, because think about a normal home. I mean, a home that, even if you never sat and read with Story, okay, but you have books everywhere. She's got older siblings, like she sees you reading. I mean, that all of that affects a student so much, and their like literacy skills and their phonetic awareness. Now, you can tell when a student doesn't have books in their home, when they've never seen anyone reading. I mean, you can for sure tell just from a young age.
Well, I'm glad because Story being the 4th kid does not get read to as much as Caden did as the first kid. I mean, it is just the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, I get first graders who don't even know which way you like turn pages or anything, you know?
Oh, yeah.
That's just something that kids pick up from just watching their parents. But if, you know, that's not happening in their home, then.
Okay, last thing about teaching. So, gifts.
Yeah.
Teacher gifts. I love to give teacher gifts, and I try to like really plan it throughout the year so I don't wait till the last minute and blah, blah, blah. Some of my kids' classes, the homeroom mom, which I will never be ever, ever, ever. I did it once. I was the worst. I'm sure no teacher will ever ask me again. I just cannot handle it. The pressure, oh my gosh, I cannot do it ever again. But some of the homeroom moms plan like everybody send in money and we'll buy one gift. As a teacher, do you like that?
Oh, I think that's great. One time they did that, and they all got together, and I think each of them gave like $5 or whatever. And I got a gift card to the Alamo Draft House.
Okay, so that's good.
Now, that gift card lasted me a while, you know? And that was like, oh, thank you guys. Like, and it was big for me because they had to drive past 620 to go get it because I teach up in Leander, you know? And they usually don't like to go down into Austin. But, so that's great. I really do like that. That's great if they go in on something like that. And like this year my class made me, and it doesn't always have to be something with like, that I'm going to spend money on, but they made me this little book this year, with like, one of my parents is a professional photographer. So he took pictures of each child and then they wrote a little note, you know, just in their first grade thing. And they put it together. And like, when I looked at it, I mean, it made me cry because it was like, I will always keep that. And it's cheesy and it's whatever, but I love it, you know, because it helps me remember my students. But what I would say about gifts is that if you're going to spend $5, okay, like you do not have to spend a lot of money, you know, for the love. Don't go buy a coffee mug or a magnet or, you know, like
an Apple pencil holder.
Yeah. I have coffee mugs. Just, if you're going to spend $5, just get a Starbucks gift card or something, you know?
That's such a good idea because I really do think sometimes parents feel like if I don't spend $20, then I shouldn't get anything. But even a $5 gift card to Starbucks is awesome.
Yeah. Or say, you know, and some families' money is super tight, you know? And I know that. And parents probably aren't going to believe this, but at the end of the year, it doesn't even register in my mind who gave me a gift, who didn't give me a gift.
Yeah.
But I do realize like finances are tight and whatever, but a like heartfelt note to me saying, you know, something that impacted them or their family or their student or whatever that year, like really means a lot to me.
I
mean, and as a teacher, it's so refreshing to hear good things because sometimes parents only communicate when it's something that they're worried about or, you know, so.
Okay. That's good to know. So whenever Aaron makes a new CD, I always give them that because it's like, I just walk back to the studio and grab some CDs. That's easy.
Yeah.
What did I give my teacher? Oh, I gave them all these like key rings from my friend Laura Kelly at Pitter Patter. I think that's her name.
Oh, yeah.
Pitter Patter, maybe. I gave them all key ring things.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah. And I don't know what I did for Christmas. I don't know. But anyhow, I always have really big ideas and plans, and it never worked. That's the story of my life, actually. I was going to make my mom a wreath for Christmas. I never made it. The ribbon and the thing is still on my desk. I've never made it because I always have big ideas and I never finish anything.
Well, and then you have 4 kids and you're doing blog and podcasts.
I know. So anything crafty, I always sign up and then I just don't do it because I'm not crafty.
You like to pin a lot on Pinterest.
I like to act like I'm crafty.
But never do the pins.
But never do it. No.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about books. Because you and I both love books.
Love books. Yeah.
You're like my reader friend that I'm always talking to about books. So let's go through this list real quick. It is 36 books that will be movies this year. And so I want to see if you've read any of them.
Yes.
Okay, first is Mockingjay, which is from Hunger Games.
Oh, yeah, I read that whole series. You read it, too.
I read them all.
But, you know, Mockingjay was my least favorite of the 3.
What number is this?
Mockingjay's the last one.
Okay. I don't remember. I just read them so quickly and got through them. So how many movies are out so far?
2. So this will be the last one.
Okay, so I haven't seen the second one. I should watch it. All right. The Fault in Our Stars.
No, but, you know, you just finished reading that.
I read it in Mexico.
Yeah, and so I'm going to read it so that you and I can go see the movie together.
Yeah, I think it just came out. It said June 6th it came out. So we'll do that after next week. Okay.
Yes.
All You Need Is Kill.
I have not read that. I've never even heard of it.
It's a science fiction book. I won't read it. It looks dumb.
I'm not a science fiction person.
I'm not either. Tom Cruise is going to be in it, though.
I say I'm not a science fiction person, and then I've read, Hunger Games and everything.
Yeah, but that's not the same. Okay, the next one is The 100-Foot Journey.
Nope.
I don't know either. I just put it on my list to read.
But it looks good,
It looks good. It looks like something I would like. Okay, The Giver.
Yes.
Oh,
I did read that. And I'll be interested to see what this movie looks like.
Me too. Because I was not happy at the end of this book.
No.
I mean, I was actually very disappointed and furious a bit. I didn't like it.
It's a very kind of, I feel like it's dark,
Yeah. They say Jeff Bridges is going to play the Giver.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
okay.
So it comes out in August. Next is If I Stay by Gail Forman. It says it will appeal to fans of Twilight.
Okay, so maybe I would like it.
Maybe we'll like it. I don't know. It comes out in August, but I'm going to try to read that too. Okay, next, Dark Places by Gillian Flynn.
Yeah, now we love Gillian Flynn because of Gone Girl.
Gone Girl.
She wrote the book Gone Girl, and I really do think I want to read this book.
I have it on my list as well. Now, Gone Girl, is it out as a movie yet?
No, it doesn't come out till October.
Okay, and this one comes out in September. Was this book before Gone Girl?
Yes, it was.
Okay, we got to read this too, because I really liked Gone Girl.
I like the way she writes.
Yeah. Okay, next is This Is Where I Leave You by Jonathan Trooper.
I've never... Oh, it talks about him leaving his Jewish faith?
Yes, and I started reading this last summer, and I am not one to not finish a book.
Okay.
And I can't remember. I don't want to speak too much about why I finished it, but I think it got a little too much for me. Racy, maybe.
Oh, racy.
Yeah, and I can't even remember why. There's only been 2 books that I have not finished because they've gotten a little too much for me, and this was one of them.
Okay.
So that is what it is. Okay, The Maze Runner.
Nope.
It's a sci-fi book. I don't know it either. All right.
Young adult trilogy. Okay.
Yeah. Here Be Monsters.
Never even heard. It's like a kid's book.
Yes.
Similar to Roald Dahl. Now I love Roald Dahl. I think those are great books for kids.
Yeah.
Love them.
Yeah. So I haven't read that either, but maybe Caden and I will have to read that. Okay. Hector and the Search for Happiness. Nope. I don't know either. I've never even heard of it. It comes out in September. I'll put all of this whole list up on the blog if y'all are wondering. Okay, the next is The Switch.
The Switch.
Don't know.
Nope, I've never heard of it.
But Jennifer Aniston's going to be in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, Gone Girl. Here it is.
Yes.
By Gillian Flynn.
I think this movie's going to be really well done.
I'm excited.
I heard they changed the ending in the movie.
I heard that as well. And so we'll have to see. Ben Affleck's in it. It comes out in October.
And so I think it's going to be really good.
That's a good summer book if someone's looking for something.
Oh, it's a good beach read. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day.
Now, this is a great children's book.
That's cute. It is. Steve Carell and Jennifer Garner are going to be in it.
I think that'll be great.
I wonder if it's going to be an animated book. No, because it says they play the part and not like their voices.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The Best of Me by Nicholas Sparks.
I don't like Nicholas Sparks' books.
My friend Amy that I keep talking about, she has read every single Nicholas Sparks book that there is. Like whenever she's going out of town, I'm like, Jimmy, give you some book lists? She's like, no, I got Nicholas Sparks. I'm like, we need to branch out. There's more to the world than Nicholas Sparks. I think I've only read a few of his books, and he has like 850, I think.
Yeah, I've read. Yeah, I know he does. Like every year, a new book comes out.
Yes,
and it's all this love story.
It's all the same.
Super sad. Yeah. My friend Wendy is a huge Nicholas Sparks person, and she reads every book.
Okay, wasn't there a Nicholas Sparks book about turtles?
And
there was a movie.
Yeah. The Last Song or something?
Yes. And
with Miley Cyrus?
Yes.
Yes.
When we were in Mexico this week, they kept telling us that there were going to be turtles at night. And so, but literally every night we were in bed by like 9:30. It's just like you get up early and then you're going to bed. But we kept wanting to go see the turtles, and I was trying to tell Aaron about the book, and I never could remember it. But it's that movie that Miley Cyrus is in, yes. And it's a Nicholas Sparks book, isn't it?
Uh-huh, yeah. It's a great movie, actually. It's pretty sad. Yeah. Obviously, it's Nicholas Sparks.
Yeah, obviously. Okay, where rainbows end.
Nope, but it doesn't look like something
It doesn't. It looks kind of cheesy on the cover.
Yeah, I'm basing this, I'm judging the book by the cover on this one.
Yeah, it looks like a romance novel or something really cheesy.
Yeah. Okay. And then Mockingjay.
And then Mockingjay, which we've read. Wild.
Yeah, you just finished that one.
I finished that this spring, and Reese Witherspoon's going to be playing the character, and she takes this journey along the Pacific coast, which is I never knew about until the book, but it's on the Pacific coast, obviously, and it goes from Mexico to Canada. And it's just her journey, and she did this all alone.
Oh, wow.
Like, it was crazy. That's a good read, too. Wild.
Okay.
I recommend that.
Yeah, I would have to look at that one.
The Hobbit?
Yeah, I read, my dad, when we were little, read The Hobbit aloud to us.
Oh, I love that.
Kind of like you did with the Narnia
Lord
Chronicles.
of the Rings, yeah.
Yeah.
The Chronicles, yeah. But tell me if hasn't The Hobbit already come out?
Yes, it has already come out.
I don't get it then.
But did it come out this year? Aren't these all books?
But hasn't the movie The Hobbit already come out, or are they making it in like 3 different films?
Oh, it might be it might be cut up. I'm not sure.
I think it must be cut up because I could have sworn Aaron took Caden to go see it. I haven't read any of these books.
Yeah.
The Hobbit or what is this, Lord of the Rings stuff. Funny thing is when Aaron and I were dating, he would always take me to see Lord of the Rings at like midnight when it came out. I slept through all of them.
Well, yeah, because they're like 3 hours long.
And I cannot be doing anything past 11 o'clock at night. No. And they don't appeal to me. And so I just slept through the whole thing.
Right. Yeah. Of course.
So I've kind of seen them, but not really. Okay, next is the book that we both love.
What? I lost my browser, so
it's
what
okay.
is it?
Unbroken.
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh. We're going to cry during that movie, Jamie.
Now, this is a book that Aaron and I both read this, and I recommend. But here's the deal. If someone would have said, hey, here's a book about a World War II survivor, I'd be like, nah, I'm out. No thanks. It's not anything I would ever think I would want to read. And it was one of the best books I've ever read in my entire life.
Yeah, we read this in book club.
Uh-huh.
And I don't even know how we, came to decide on this one, because it doesn't seem like something we would have just picked.
No, but it is, I highly recommend that if you need a summer read.
It's a great book. Everyone who reads it loves it.
I loved it so much. I cried at the end. Did you cry?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Oh, and that's why I think in the movie it's going to be even...
I love it. I remember when I was a kid, the first book I cried in was, oh my gosh, now I'm not going to remember. It was about the guy with the mouse, Lenny. You know. No. The guy, there was 2 brothers and they had maybe it was a rabbit and he was petting the rabbit so much, he like squeezed him and he died. Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I don't know that book.
I don't know that. Okay. Anyhow. I remember as a child, the first time I cried in a book, I remember thinking, this is so cool that you can read something and it can move you to emotions. I cry a lot when I read books.
Mine was The Bridge to Terabithia.
I've never read that.
Oh, it's so sad, Jamie.
I need to add that to my list. It? Oh, they did. They read it this year.
I'm surprised he didn't tell you about it.
He doesn't tell me anything. He's a boy. They did just read Old Yeller, and I was like, did you cry? And he's like, no. I was like, what?
To kill a dog.
I know. Yeah. It's so sad.
Okay, now this next book, The Monuments Men, I want to read this because I want to see this movie bad.
Okay, this has been on the list, too, that I want to read. Again, it doesn't seem like something I would like, but I've seen the preview, and it looks awesome.
It looks so interesting. So interesting. Anything with World War II is really interesting to me.
And Matt Damon, Bill Murray, Cate Blanchett,
George Clooney.
They're all in it. It's going to be so good. In fact, it says it came out February 7th.
Oh, so it's been, we can see it now.
We missed it.
But, I still like to read the book before I see the movie.
Yeah, me too. Okay, A Long Way Down by Nick Hornby. It sounds like another title, but I don't know anything about that either. Vampire Academy.
That doesn't seem like something.
No thanks.
Nope. I don't think I'll be. Looks like Angelina Jolie on the front, but it's not. Yeah.
Winter's Tale by Mark Helbrin.
No. Never heard of it.
Will Smith and Russell Crowe are in it. And again, it came out in February. This just shows you how many times I go see movies.
I know. I don't go to the movie very often at all. So,
Therese Raquin? Man, I don't know anything about that either.
No, and that came out in February as well.
A Book of Common Prayer?
Oh, and this is by Joan Didion, or Didion, or whatever. Remember, she wrote the book that we read in book club called A Year of Magical Thinking.
And I didn't like it. Everyone did.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah, I know. I was in the minority for that one for sure.
Yeah, so she wrote a memoir called The Year of Magical Thinking, and it was about the year after her husband had passed away.
Yeah.
And I love her writing. I think I've read a couple of her other books. So I think this one is a novel.
It says an American woman travels to Central America to reunite with her fugitive daughter.
Yeah.
So the country is on the brink of a violent revolution, and she's anything but prepared for what she sees. Well, I think that sounds like something I would like, yeah.
Yeah, I do too, and they're making it into a movie, so.
Yeah. Sounds good. Okay, Serena by Ron Rash.
Never heard of it.
I don't either. Jennifer Lawrence and Bradley Cooper are in this? Aren't they in every movie together?
I know. Well, that's got to be good. We got to read that.
It doesn't say a release date, so maybe it's coming out soon.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, those are great characters.
I know.
You know.
Far from the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy.
Never heard of it.
I don't know either. The Enigma? Me neither. Man. And then Divergent, which I'm going to read this summer. Have you read these?
I haven't. I'm going to read it too this summer. It's on my list.
Okay. And this is again where there's like 3 books. Yeah,
and I heard it quick reads, once you start, you can't stop.
That's where it is. I read, in Mexico, I told you I read the first Harry Potter book.
Yes.
And I've never read those before. And Caden's reading them. So I like to read what he's reading so we can talk about it. We did that with the Percy Jackson stuff. But I loved the book.
Oh, I'm so excited that you're reading these.
I honestly thought, I'm going to read this and just to talk to Caden about it. I really loved it.
Well, I can't wait till you get deep into the series because you're going to love it. It makes me want to read them too, just to be let's talk about it. Yeah. They're really well written.
Oh, I'm so excited. Okay. Devil's Knot.
Nope. I will not be reading that.
It says the savage murder of 3 young children sparked a controversial trial of 3 teenagers accused of killing the children as part of a satanic ritual. Oh, Jamie. My gosh.
I cannot, and I will not be seeing that movie either.
Oh, I wouldn't see the movie. Oh, it's that story of the West Memphis 3. I've seen this. I followed this a little bit.
Oh, it's like a true,
Yes, this is a true story. And some movie stars got behind these people and they really didn't do it. So, they got out, I think.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to give anything away, but I think they got out. I think they were released.
Well, it's a true story. You can't be ruining that much. But
true.
I get it, books and really can freak me out.
Yeah.
And so, and I get freaked out by weird things that most people are that didn't freak me out at all.
Oh my gosh.
Books can really freak me out. And I'm usually reading late at night or something.
And that'd be scary.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get through these. Trash by Andy Mulligan.
Nope.
Don't know anything
Never heard of it.
It looks like it might be kind of good. One Fat Summer.
Never heard of it.
No, me neither. A Walk in the Woods by Bill Bryson.
Discovering America.
It says it's a humorous memoir.
Okay.
I like that.
And I'm always interested about the Appalachian Mountains.
And that's what he walks the Appalachian Trail. Robert Redford, Nick Nolte, and Emma Thompson I have signed on. That will be good.
That will be good.
Every Secret Thing by Laura Lippman. It looks a little scandalous.
It does. Just by the cover.
Oh, maybe not. It says, when 2 little girls find an infant in an abandoned stroller, a terrible incident shatters 3 families. 7 years later, the girls are 18 trying to find a new start, but the crime keeps haunting the families. Oh, gosh.
When another child disappears.
Yeah.
But Dakota Fanning will be in it. Yeah. And Diane Lane.
I like Diane Lane a lot.
Yeah.
A Walk Among the Tombstones by Lawrence Block. Nope.
Liam Neeson will be in it, so he'll probably be, help, killing some people.
Yes. Taking it.
Kicking butt.
Yeah. True story, murder memoir, mea culpa? I probably said that wrong.
Oh.
I don't know. It doesn't look like... Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
So those are the movies. I mean, those are the books that are going to be movies this year.
Yeah, and I love to read a book that's going to be a movie.
I really do like to read the book before I see a movie.
Yeah, me too.
Good. So good. Okay, Meghan.
Yeah.
That was a really good conversation about all these books and stuff.
So fun.
So, real quick, the last book you read.
The last book I read actually was a friend of ours, Jared Hanks. We're good friends with his sister, Annie Lent. He just wrote a novel, and it's, going to get published. And so he let me read it, the draft, and I'm giving it to you next, actually. And it's called Bloodless Christ. And it was so good, Jamie.
Okay. I can't wait.
And I'm not just saying that because he's my friend. But right now I'm reading a book called Shotgun Love Songs by Nicholas Butler. And it's set in Wisconsin, small town Wisconsin. And it's about all these friends and them coming back, and it's told from each of their point of view. Each chapter is a different person's point of view.
I like those.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one of the friends gets really famous, but he keeps coming back, and so it's just about that. Yeah.
Sounds like a good summer read.
Oh, it's really good. It's a great summer read. Yeah.
Okay, when I was at the beach, I read Bossy Pants, finally.
So funny.
Yes, I read that literally in like a day on the beach.
So funny.
I read Bossy Pants. I read Harry Potter. I told you that. I read The Fault in Our Stars.
Yes.
And then I read a book called Popular about a girl who wrote her kind of like a story to high school girls. It was good. And then right now I just started Traveling Mercies.
Yes.
Which I've never read. I've only read one of Anne Lamont's book called Bird by Bird, which I've talked about before. But so I'm excited to get into this.
Awesome.
Have you read Traveling Mercies?
Yes, I read a long time ago, senior year in high school.
Okay.
A long time ago.
Okay, so I'm excited to get into that. And then I'm going to start Divergent.
Yes.
Or the second Harry Potter. I can't decide.
I know. That's the only one of my Harry Potter books I can't find. I probably loaned it to somebody.
We already bought it.
So,
Caden's reading it right now.
Well, if you're out there and you have my Harry Potter book, give it back.
Call now. Call now.
Yeah.
Okay, Meghan. Thank you so much. I hope you have a good week. I'm glad that you're out of school.
Yes, me too.
Summer break is the best. I love that you always say Summer Meghan is so fun.
Oh, yeah. Summer Meghan is out.
I love it. I love it.
I know. I wait till everyone's getting off work. I'm like, hey, you want to go do something? They're like,
I'm
no,
ready.
I got to wake up at 7 a.m. I'm like, okay. Well.
Not me. Okay. Thanks for being a guest on Happy Hour. It's been so fun talking to you. And have a great week.
Okay. You too. Bye.
I hope you enjoyed Meghan so much. I love having her as a guest. Thanks for listening this far. I want you to know some other guests coming up in the next couple of months are Rachel McCoy, Janet Reeves, and Melanie Schenkel. You can read Meghan's post about the R word on my website, jamieivey.com. And in fact, all the show notes are on my website, jamieivey.com. Thanks so much, friends, and we'll see you next week.